What's up, man?
Sorry, man.
What's up, fellas?
We sent the link to Will Sass.
One thing about Bryan Callen is when you do send him the link, he's fucking quick.
I'm quick. I don't fuck around. One thing about me in general, I'm quick. Now, I feel like this lighting is taken away from the nooks and crannies, sort of the character and the topography of my visage. So let me play around with because I want the people to see what I'm working with. Does that make sense?
Of course.
Yeah, you know what the fuck I'm saying.
I got you, dog.
All right, hold on.
Hey, while you're doing that, I'm gonna properly introduce you.
Go ahead. Tell them who I am.
What? Can we take a second to take in the staircase?
That's a great staircase.
It's a great.
Dude,
It's
and by the way, no railing. And people are like, Bryan, you can't do that. That's not up to code. And I'm like, fuck code.
People don't know you're a dangerous man.
I'm dangerous. Look at it. I dangle. Sometimes I hang. I walk super close. I don't care. I'm crazy.
That's an ACL at least.
You may know him from his specials, Man Class, Never Grow Up, Complicated Eights. How about the movie Bad Santa? Do you remember that? How about old school Hangover 1 and 2? The Goods, by the way, one of my personal favorites. I fucking love the Ride Along and About Last Night with Kevin Hart, Mad TV, Oz, Seventh Heaven. We don't talk about that show anymore. The Goldbergs. Schooled, his own fucking show. God damn, you've done a lot. Warrior, how handsome is Tom Hardy? Maybe you know him from his battles with psoriasis or getting his eyelids done, or I mean, him just fucking keeping you busy. Who knows? He's the kid. He's the Bruce Springsteen of comedy. He's on his best friend. He has a barrel of snakes for a back. Expressive eyes, very expressive eyes. The Big Dip Bandit himself, the gay owl, Chris D'Elia. How are you doing?
No, it's Bryan Callen. It's Bryan Callen. Yeah, no. I just talked to Chris. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just talking to Chris, and I said to him, I go, dude, come over, man. Come over, hang out with me.
Come on the RUSHMORE podcast.
I get a voice thing that says, hey, dude, I'm fucking working out, and you trying to fuck me? That's what he said, and that was it.
Well, you know, they did film the Lord of the Rings, the first two I know, on his delts. They filmed those movies on his delts.
The kid puts muscle on quickly. I lift weights, and nothing happens. So he's got good Italian genes.
People listen to Rushmore podcast or movie trivia like that. I didn't know that.
Yes. Lord of the Rings? Yeah. Well, not The Hobbit, not the prequels.
Okay.
Yeah, so Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers. I think they might have done some reshoots on Return of the King on his left delt, but I'm not sure. But they definitely have been.
That's just good information. That
Peter Jackson is a huge stand-up comedy fan, so he just called him and asked for the favor.
That's exactly right. Thank you for that trivia. I didn't know that either.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now, where are you guys? Where are we doing this from? Where are you guys?
We are actually in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Have you heard of Biloxi, Mississippi?
I have heard of Biloxi, Mississippi.
We're about 25 minutes away from that, probably about an hour and a half from New Orleans.
Oh, so you guys are like this all the time. Party!
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, Bryan Callen, if you walk out of this front door right now and go south, and you walk pretty fast, I know you, 5 minutes.
I have what's called a tireless gait. Keep going.
5 minutes, you're in the water.
You're in the water.
You're in the Gulf of
We're
Mexico,
on the Gulf.
Okay?
Is that right?
It's party time.
My street connects to the beach.
How many X's on that bottle?
Now,
there you go. There you go.
Where you have an incredible staircase behind you, I have a pack of Tide Pods.
What?
Well, here's the difference in class, gentlemen. And I'm not trying to be, but I'm drinking a Grand Cru Classé.
Oh.
That's I don't fuck around. It's a 2012, and it's a hell of a Bordeaux.
Hold on, Bryan.
Tropical Burst 5-hour energy.
Get the whole thing in the camera.
I like that. Now here's the thing. Because you're younger, and I care about your systems. If I was in there, I would revolutionize your health. I'd get you moving around. First, I'd take you in with my hands. We'd probably do a little light wrestling to see what your endurance is.
Sure.
And then we do a little what I call a shove around. And you shove around, but I'm taking you in the whole time. Is what I'm doing. I'm making a medical assessment, and then I'd look in your fridge. And my guess is I'd throw it all out. I'd throw it all the fuck out.
Sure.
Yep. And then we'd have to strip you down so I can take you in some more visually.
Well.
And then we'd work on our problem areas, and I'd work out a whole nutrition plan for you guys. So you're welcome in advance.
And this is all included whenever you buy the Season of Oz?
That is exactly right. Thank you, sir. That is all included. Thank you.
That's an incredible package.
Man, I'm so glad that we are getting just full Bryan Callen.
Speaking of
incredible.
shoving people around, Brian, can I call you Brian?
You can call me whatever you want.
If you were going to fight, and I've thought about this, so I've really chosen for you. I just want to give your thoughts, but I'm going to let you pick, and we'll pretend that that's the game. If you were going to fight a celebrity, it doesn't have to be a comedian, could be an actor, could be a musician, could be RuPaul, could be anybody. If you were going to fight somebody, say for charity, but if they're going to donate to your charity, because it is an exhibition, but if they're going to donate to your charity, you need a finish.
Yeah.
You got to get a finish. So it's got to be somebody you want to hurt a little bit. Might even be friendly with them, but you can put them down. Who would be your go-to? Give me a guy. I want it to be fair.
Well, here's the thing. What bothers me is when celebrities act like they're tough.
Sure.
Or think they're tough.
Yeah.
Because, especially actors.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm one of them, by the way, I'm a little guilty of this, but I did enough wrestling, I did enough boxing, taekwondo. I did enough to know how tough I'm not.
Sure.
And I did enough to know that there are a lot of guys built like the UPS man that can change your whole life. So I'm very reverential, and I'm very careful and very afraid of any man I don't know, because I've seen how a guy can look like nothing and do ragdoll you, put a wig on you, do whatever he wants. So
this is not a joke, but to interject for a second, there's a UPS driver in my area, like that drives this region, that is a regional MMA champion that fights out of Atlas Fights in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah. There you go.
And he's about 42.
And you mess with him, you're going to have your hands full.
Yep.
You're going to have your hands full, right? And then you'll probably take a little nap. Okay?
Yes.
You're going to wake up in a puddle with your pants down.
Yeah, and one of the things about training at a place like Hensel Gracie's school or any jiu-jitsu gym is you roll with guys and you realize how horrifying it could be for you if they chose to impose their will. And boxing, there are dudes that can just shut you off so quickly, and then nothing hurts more. So again, when I see actors that are actually telling other actors and people who don't know better that they're tough,
Michael B. Jordan.
It bothers me. So I would who
Michael B. Jordan. Remember he said he would like box Roy Jones.
I saw today Chris Hemsworth was putting out some boxing videos.
Well, Chris Hemsworth is a big kid.
I hear he can box.
He's a fucking 6'5". I want no part of that guy. He's just a Viking, and he's cool, and he's he works hard.
Handsome.
But there are two guys who I would have fought. I would fight. You got to look at it this way. I'm in a bar, and the guy starts getting cheeky, and he gets a little shovey. Okay. If Chris Hemsworth is getting shovey, I'm a little attracted to him, even though I'm a straight man.
Sure.
So there's already that.
It's
and
natural.
then I'm jealous of him, but I'm also a little broken because my girl would rather be with him than me.
Yep.
Right.
Store.
And by the way, same goes for Michael B. Jordan. I gotta be honest. He's just fucking. He's kind of undeniable.
Yeah.
And so I'm already feeling bad about myself. And if my girl cheats on me with him, of course she did. Of course she did.
What are you gonna do about
it? As a gentleman who understands a pecking order, I take her back.
Yeah.
And I apologize to her for not being more like Michael B. We know this, right?
Yeah.
It sucks, but understand your place in the world.
It's the world we live in.
And for the record, we're talking about Michael Basketball Jordan from the Chicago Bulls, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, I'm kidding.
No, but yes, we are as well. And yes, we are as well. That's a whole
nother world. Yeah.
Even when he has his Hitler mustache, you give him your girl.
You lose your chick in a gambling bet.
That's his
how
pussy
it is.
saver.
It's what it is.
That's what it is. Thank you. But the two guys, I got to just say it.
I'm super interested because I have two written down. I'm really hoping we cross over.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited. Mark Wahlberg is when I met him a long time ago.
Okay.
I didn't like the way I didn't appreciate the way he I was sitting at the same table and I didn't appreciate he was a little out of line just in terms of his sort of, he was kind of a little rude.
I've heard some stories of a little like better than thou
Yeah.
I've heard he's a good guy, though.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
So actually, I believe Mark Wahlberg's a great person.
I'm
and
a fan.
And I believe he's, and everybody should be a fan of his. I'm just saying my own experience, at that moment, and this is about, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago, maybe 13 years ago, I had a problem, and I had a bigger problem with the fact that the people around me were talking about what a street fighter and a tough guy he was. And I was biting. I was like, like I would have fought him right immediately. If there's any other thing, I would have gone. I would have just. I'm going. You know what I say? I go. I'm going. Now, yeah.
The thing with Mark Wahlberg, he does a ton of charitable shit, and we will not take that away from him. But just because you do a ton of charitable shit does not mean you're a good person. You could be a enormous piece of shit and give $1 million to charity, and that does not mean that you are not an enormous piece of shit.
But he is a good person, and I've heard too many stories about him being awesome. So now I'm going to chalk up the fact that he's an awesome person, and the only reason that I would have tried to fight him is I'd be a little scared of him because he boxes. He's a tough. He's an actor tough guy, and so I gotta see if I'm as tough. I got to see if I got the goods. So I'm a little insecure. So I'm going to fight a guy who I'm not sure I can beat. That's why I'm insecure.
I will say The Fighter is one of the better boxing movies where he's Mickey Ward. Awesome. He looks great in that movie.
Awesome.
Him and Christian Bale. Christian Bale's so goddamn good.
My favorite actor, Christian Bale.
Incredible.
Daniel Day-Lewis, Christian Bale, my favorite actors. I don't know how they do what they do. So if Christian Bale wants to fight me, again, I buy him a drink. I let him smack me around. I buy him a drink, and I thank him. Right? He's just better. The next guy I fight 100% is in his prime, Russell Crowe, because I heard he was a bit of a bully. And I read an article written about him being sort of the alpha male in his group. And that's fine until you give me any of your alpha energy.
Until you meet Bryan Callen.
Yeah, and then I say something to him like this. I go, You're butter. You look like a piece of overgrown butter, and I'm feeling like a sharp, hot knife. That's how I start the fight. Yeah, I use metaphors.
Talk about a guy that physically just fell apart, huh?
Just doesn't give a fuck.
I mean, hey, good for him, but he just doesn't. Just The Nice Guys, by the way, underrated comedy.
Yeah. Look, and by the way, how about this? Great actor. Yeah. Great actor.
Sure.
And if he was in front of me, I'd try to be his friend. So again, I'm a bit of a phony with these conversations. Yeah. Who did you write down?
I actually put down, and these are people that I think you could beat, but one of them I think puts up a fight. And I think one of them doesn't, but would say he would. The one that I think that you're going to get if we're talking MMA, not boxing, I'm going to say you're getting a finish or a 30-27 decision, we're going with AC Slater, Mario Lopez.
I have Mario Lopez is going to be a major problem for me. He's a good boxer. He was a really great wrestler.
Oh, was he?
I don't know how much jiu-jitsu he's had, but I've met Mario. Mario's a sturdy kid.
Okay.
And works very hard at boxing and very hard at wrestling and loves the game. So I
think you're way off with that, man.
Yeah, my heart's beating right now. But I don't want to box him. He's going to beat me.
Vegas. It's an MMA fight. I'm hoping Vegas sees this. So whenever we do book that fight for maybe Ellis Mania, we'll call Jason Ellis. Yeah. Whenever we do book that fight, Vegas can see this and put you plus money because I'm putting the fucking house on you, Brian.
Do I get to use my feet?
Oh yeah, MMA, full MMA.
Yeah. Well, now watch this. Watch this. This is what I say. I look at them and I go, I get to use my feet.
And then
see what happens.
Impose is like the Vegas odds just going like.
It's shifting in your favor. Did he host?
Yeah, that's what happens.
Did he host Dancing with the Stars?
There are whispers. They go, he's using his feet. His feet. Your feet. Yeah, and then it just.
It's like the movie 21 with all the numbers on the screen. It's like, oh my god.
Pete Rose gets in on the action. Yeah, comes out of retirement.
And I say that, and by the way, I go like this. I go, guys, you don't want to see my feet.
No,
you don't want to see my feet.
Brian will tear the shit out of his ACL trying to kick you in the face.
My other one.
Goddamn right.
My other guy.
Who's the next guy?
This is a guy who has sparred as a child with Muhammad Ali.
Ooh.
This is a guy
I know who it is.
Godfather is Judo Gene LaBelle. This is Freddie Prinze Jr.
Now, Freddie and I box at the same gym.
Yeah.
With the same trainer.
Okay.
And Freddie and I have always been threatening to spar each other. I love him.
Yeah.
We're friends. And we just never got around to it. We were supposed to always meet because I would always go in and spar with the guys. And my coach would be like, Freddie will be here Tuesday, and I would be gone. And then he'd say, Brian. So we were always missing each other.
Scheduling,
but we sparred all the same kind of guys.
Yeah.
Sparred the same guys. And Freddie's a very good spar because he doesn't go crazy. So that has almost happened many times.
That would be fun to watch.
That would be fun to watch because I think we're very, very even. I've been told by boxers and by guys who I've sparred with and who he's sparred with that we're different, but we're very even from what I hear.
That's a guy that really appreciates it too. Yeah. Martial arts.
I know, but by the way, guys, do you hear what you're talking to a 53-year-old man and I'm talking about fighting. So I've already kind of lost because that's a little sad.
Oh, dude, that's
all right.
That's incredible.
How quick?
That's where I want to be.
First round? How quick do you fuck up Sam Tripoli?
Sam, I love him so much, but Sam,
he's gonna die.
He doesn't have the endurance.
He's going to die.
Just matter of fact, don't even show up. Just call Ari. Get Ari to do
it. That's it. Yeah. I mean, Ari and Sam beats Ari, but Sam can actually throw.
Hot take. I'm
sorry.
The cardio machine, Ari Shaffir?
Friend of Rushmore podcast, Ari Shaffir.
Ari's heart is too big. Ari is
and
too
it's a
kind.
medical condition.
He's so Ari Shaffir is actually deeply good.
Yeah.
He's a deeply
he's the Grinch at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but so is Sam. Yeah. Tripoli and I'm talking about deeply pure. Tripoli and fucking Shaffir are beautiful people.
I will say this to annoy Pepper for half a second, but I talked to you the other night about how I went to LA and got to see you guys live for a few days. We went to Sam's Comedy Chaos show that he put on, and it was probably 1:32 in the morning at the end of the entire night, and there was like 4 people left in the crowd. This is the end, and me and my wife were sitting against the stage in the front, and Sam actually what's happening? Hold on 1 second, Brian.
No, we're not dead.
We're good. But my wife just walked in and said something. But no, we were sitting in front of the stage, and Sam actually came out like at the end of the night and personally shook our hands and thanked us for coming and stuff like that. So they're like, what a good fucking guy.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best guy. I love him.
Brian, speaking about good guys, you're a good guy. You've done some stuff with Meat Eater that I adore. So since you and I are both, pretty outdoorsy people. We know our way around the goddamn woods. Let's not get it twisted.
You're damn right.
There's a lot of hunters that listen to this show, and mostly for me. Thomas doesn't do. He's never been in the woods.
I got a sense immediately. I said, if I'm in the woods and I need to stalk some game, you're the guy.
He's the guy.
And Tom is the guy, and it's all good. But Tom is the guy who stays by the campfire and cooks us up what we catch. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know what? I'm a hell of a cook.
I know that. And we need what the hell is a campfire in the country if we don't have somebody who's going to man the culinary.
That's a good way to justify his existence. So I just want you to drop some hunting tips for 2020. Things have been so crazy nowadays. It's harder for people to get in the woods with all the restrictions and everything, believe it or not. Just drop some good, and we're in I know rut has gone and passed for people up north, but down here we're like basically in the middle, if not the end of the rut right now. Just drop some like good southern.
I got 2 things I believe in. One is, you got to wait sometimes. You got to walk and stalk, and then you got to wait. And when you're waiting, you're going to be cold.
Yep.
So the secret is I put one of them heating sort of pads on my stomach, my back, and then I got 2 small ones I put on where my femoral artery is. Yeah. Like right. I think that's where it is, near my crotch, and 2 behind my knees. Sometimes I'll do that if it's real cold, but nobody knows that.
Behind the knees is a good one.
Which if you're Bryan
Callen, nobody ever does it.
That's
behind
a good
the knees.
idea.
You want if you really want to get crazy, you go behind the knees, you go under your armpits, and then you go tummy back. And if you do that, you're notice how I say tummy. If you do that, you'll be ahead of the game. If you are cold, if it's cold, sometimes you freeze your ass up when you're sleeping in a tent. You take a steel water bottle. I always bring a steel water bottle. You fill that up with boiling water. You wrap that in a towel, put it at the bottom of your sleeping bag. That will keep you nice and warm, especially your feet. So blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. I don't wear clothing that makes noise as I walk. I try to use, because the problem with a lot of polyester and stuff is it shh, shh, shh. You hear that.
Yep.
Here's another one that I don't know if most people do, but I do it and I believe in it. I try not to eat any meat. I try not to eat any jerky. I try not to eat anything like that. I try to stay super vegetarian because animals can smell meat on, this is my theory. They can smell meat on your breath and they can smell a predator. So what I try to do is I try to go vegan 3 days before I go hunting, and I stay that way while I'm hunting. And that does a couple things. One, I don't smell like a meat eater. Two, it tends to, it makes me that much hungrier for what I want because I get so carnivorous. And all you want to do when you're a little hungry, you should be a little hungry when you eat, when you hunt. You should always be hungry when you hunt because you're so desperate. Every time you come around a bend, you're so desperate to see something with hooves. And I think that's the best way to hunt when you're hungry and you're dying for some meat. Because I've been known to kill a deer, cut it up and eat it in the field. I said it. I'll cut a jalapeno pepper on top of it, maybe put a little olive oil on top of it. So do I hunt with jalapenos and olive oil? Maybe.
See,
maybe. So I got that going for me. So those are my biggest tips when it comes to hunting.
All right, so Pepper asked you the hard-hitting hunting question. I wanted to ask you, who's more handsome? You've worked with both at some capacity. Tom Hardy or Luke Rockhold?
Well, without question and always, Luke Rockhold.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
Just I mean, if you're talking, just if you had two statues, if they had to stand and say nothing. Yeah. Tom Hardy probably weighs 150.
Isn't he like 5'7"?
Yeah, he's about 5'8", maybe 5'7", 5'8".
That's how tall that hurts.
Yeah, but he's a brilliant actor and great looking guy. I mean, when you're around Luke, the problem is sometimes you'll catch yourself in the reflection of a window when you're standing next to him. Yeah. And you just feel like you didn't get enough nutrition in the womb.
You feel well protected though.
He's an honest and true 6'3", and he walks at 220, and he's perfectly proportioned. He's got obliques. His body comes from years of beating men at unarmed combat. He is a true gladiator. And forget his eyes. You get lost in his eyes. Oh. The whole thing's a problem.
Hey, fuck Russell Crowe. Luke Rockhold is the gladiator.
100%.
Demi Lovato, you dropped the ball.
Demi Lovato, I'm a big fan.
What a woman. What a woman.
Yeah. I've got
what a power couple that was.
Yeah. She likes MMA fighters.
Most attractive couple, maybe pound for pound ever.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
That's the one musical artist that me and my wife Venn diagram on because she's like, oh, her music is cool, and I'm like, yeah, oh yeah,
she's actually like supremely talented.
Her music
she's
is great.
Fucking good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure, whatever, Thomas. Yeah.
She can sing.
Yeah. She can fucking sit on my face.
Mm-hmm.
What's your what is your go-to caffeine consumption?
Coffee. Espresso. And I don't like this fucking sour, light roast bullshit.
Sure.
I like a dark coffee, okay? Because I'm an American. I'm not interested in the single source, shade grown, citrus noted bullshit. I want my coffee to taste like nuts and chocolate and coffee, okay? That's what I want it to taste like. I don't want floral notes, citrus notes, etc. I want my espresso or my coffee to taste like coffee. I kind of want it to be a little much. You understand? That's what I like. A little much.
Motherfuckers in Japan like the floral shit. And you know what happened with Japan?
Yeah, you know what happened with Japan.
December 7th, 1941. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know if that's because of the floral
Yeah.
stuff, but
Yeah,
I mean, I got you.
There's a long history of me being racist against Imperial Japanese on this podcast.
No,
only the Imperial.
Only the
the
Imperial. Hey, after that, they're cool.
No, after that, but I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
I feel like Imperial Japan. I got a little problem with General Togo and his ilk. I do. There.
Hey, excuse me? What the fuck?
Correct.
You got what you deserve, motherfuckers. DVD
Listen.
players are cool as shit.
Nanking.
You know what?
You're
they
raping
say?
Nanking!
You know what? The famous story of the general who had studied in Detroit. He was the Japanese general that led that exhibition.
Dak
Listen,
Shepard.
Thomas.
Dak Shepard.
Listen, Thomas.
It was Dak Shepard. That was the Japanese Dak Shepard. And he said he rated it ahead. And he said, was the mission successful? And he said, yes. And he said, and you have awoken a sleeping giant, and now you are in trouble. That's what he said about the United States.
That's what fucking Elon Manning said before the Patriots
You got
Super Bowl.
2 of them.
And he did awaken a sleeping giant, ladies and gentlemen.
I kind of, you know what? And I know this is some cocky shit to say, but I think we had a pretty goddamn good chance for the land invasion. I know it would have cost just an absolute shit ton of lives, but I think we had a pretty goddamn good chance.
That's a big debate among historians.
I know. I
but
think
they would have fought. They would have fought maybe to the last man.
They never would
They
have
were pretty fanatical about their
been
devotion. Their devotion to the emperor.
I love DVD players.
The emperor Hirohito was considered actually an incarnation, or at least had to have come from Amaterasu, the great sun god. So he was considered a divine figure. Don't worry about my knowledge of Japanese history. I'm with you on Imperial Japan.
I'm glad. Thomas is just a big dumb idiot, and I'm glad that talking to guests as smart as you, we get some knowledge just beat into his brain every so often.
Have you guys read The Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi?
No, I've read like 4 books in my entire life.
I want you to get that under your belt, both as men. I want you to get that under your belt.
I've read The Logic of Sports Betting and The Life of the Party with Bert Kreischer.
I've read 3 Kurt Vonnegut books, and then
Kurt Vonnegut's good writer.
We are sponsored by Audible.
Yeah, so we should probably get some books or whatever.
Can we listen to some books and say we read them? Is that a thing?
100%.
You're doing the book club podcast, huh?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
So on patreon.com/Bryan Callen. I'm going to start. I'm going to make it. I'm getting a studio. So there are a couple things I'm going to do. One, it's not just going to be Sam. I'm going to invite all the biggest conspiracy theorists, and I'm going to debate them.
Yeah,
I don't believe in any of them really.
Yeah,
so I want the best.
Okay.
I want the best. I want the craziest from Alex Jones to everybody, and I want to debate.
That's
going to be interesting. And then I'm going to try to read. I've got 3 books now. I'm going to read books that I think young people should get under their belt. Nobody has time to read, but you should know. You should understand the ideas in the books, okay? Because it teaches you about yourself. Like the book I did called The Righteous Mind. He says one thing people should know. He's a psychologist, and he's a brilliant one. And he's a groundbreaking psychologist. One of the things he says is that your brain is like a rider on an elephant. And the elephant is the fast-thinking, emotional, reactive brain, right? That just reacts to shit intuitively. And the rider is your reasoned brain. The one that kind of like, but the elephant does whatever the fuck it wants, and the rider kind of goes along for the ride.
Yeah.
And people think they have way more control. That's a fancy way of saying your emotions control your thinking, your emotions, your intuition. That's why when somebody cuts up an American flag and they use it to clean their toilet, we don't like that. We can't explain why it's wrong. Nobody's being harmed, but there's something sacred about that. People have died for that flag. We benefit from what that flag stands for every fucking day. So if I see somebody burning a flag or cutting it up, I just have a visceral reaction to that. I just do. And that's the kind of stuff he talks about. We have a broad moral palate. Does that sound complicated? No. You guys see how you guys are listening? You've almost read the whole book. It's all it takes. So what I want to do is kind of start breaking these books down into very short little nuggets where you guys I can take the ideas out of those books and put them into your brain. And then I promise you, my goal is to get people to be well-read in a year. Because if I can break a book down once every 2 weeks, once every week, and really keep it, simple like that, I think it's useful.
You said Bookless Book Club, right?
Yeah. So you don't have to read the book. I'll read it for you. I'll break it down.
I'm into it, dude.
I'm into it.
Right?
100%.
All right.
I'll listen to that.
Patreon.com/Bryan Callen.
It took me
Fuckers.
6 months worth of shits to read Breakfast with Champions.
This
Yeah, that's more of a novel. You got to take your time with a novel. Listen to novels. Don't listen to novels on Audible. Don't try to read them. Listen to them.
That's actually a really good idea. Yeah, it makes the what's the word I'm looking for? Not imagination, but like the
Dicks.
imaginary of the whole
Pussy.
thing.
It wasn't any of those?
No, none of those.
Son of a bitch.
You guys should read Blood Meridian. Listen to Blood Meridian from Audible. It's narrated by a guy named Richard Poe. P.O.
I like that.
It's about scalp hunters in the 1800s. Ooh. As the West was turning, white, and there were the battles between the Native Americans and the white man. It's a masterpiece, and it's a fucking the devil, who's a giant 7-foot hairless man.
Shaq.
They call him the judge, and he's the devil, and he's leading this pack of scalp hunters. And it's Cormac McCarthy's masterpiece, and it's one of the masterpieces of the English language in the past 50 years. There, I said it. You're welcome.
Y'all heard the man. Go to audibletrial.com/Rushmore podcast. You get 30 days free and 3 free audiobooks from Audible.
And one free hard dick if you read that shit that Bryan said.
And you get paid.
Once for your hard dick.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to take care of this one. I'm hard as shit.
This next question is brought to you by the movie Boss Level that will eventually be released. I've heard so much about it.
I'm going to see the star of that movie. And as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to see Frank Grillo.
Frank Grillo? Give him our info. We want to holler at him.
You should have him on the podcast.
I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to talk to Frank Grillo. Super handsome.
I'll look it up.
Wait, he's a badass, right?
Oh, yeah.
Don't give him our info.
You mean Captain America's fucking arch enemy?
Now that's a dude who will beat up every actor you know.
I don't want him looking for.
That's what I heard.
Don't give him our info.
All right, I'm going with podcast co-host that you have had. Fuck, marry, kill.
Ooh. Okay.
Brendan Schaub.
Fuck.
Oh, well, didn't even give you the other ones, but sure.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Chris D'Elia.
Okay.
Will Sasso.
Oh, boy. Jesus. I probably fuck all of them.
Okay.
Because they're a little attracted to me. But hold on. I gotta marry Will, because Will's polite and he's emotional.
Oh, you can tell he knows how to treat somebody.
He's got bull hearts for calves, and also he's soft, so I could sleep on him. I could cuddle up on him.
I bet he can cook.
Yeah, and that's the final thing, is the man likes his food, so he's an excellent chef.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good logic.
Now, Brendan is he's a big round surface.
Okay.
And he's got that wonderful brown skin, and he's
a seal.
He's a bit feminine.
Yeah, he's a leopard seal.
Yeah, so gotta fuck him.
Okay.
No.
And then I kill Chris just because
he's your biggest threat, obviously. Yeah,
and he has to understand that I'm the ultimate alpha, and that as I'm killing him, as I'm drawing my blade. Do you go
blade or just forearm? Just rear naked choke him.
That's what he meant, the blade of his arm.
I'm so glad you said that. I probably pepper him up a little bit with my open hands.
That's my name. I like that.
I pepper him up. I get them all red. And then as I'm sinking my deep choke, and as he's expiring, all he hears is this: funnier than you are.
Yeah, I imagine you choking him, and as he was blacking out, you just said, "I paved your way."
Yep. Paved your way. Now I'm blocking it, and I won.
Roads closed.
And maybe I go changing your kid's name to Bryan Jr. And that's the last thing he hears. That's kind of fucked up. But
That drunk girls bit wasn't even funny.
By the way, I stand by. I've said it on this podcast. I'm not just saying it to suck your dick. I've said it, I think, last week. But I think the catalog of 10-minute podcasts, the original run, I think is the single greatest podcast listen in the history of podcasts. I think it's the most re-listenable show I've ever listened to.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
I was listening to it in real time when they were coming out, and I think I've re-listened to those like 3 or 4 years, probably 3 times.
We were going to relaunch it. But some shit happened to me and Chris.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah, what do you guys mean?
What do you mean?
Just stuff. Nothing big.
Will Sasso killed that woman. And
Hey, speaking of women.
Just total destruction with me and Chris. No big deal. I'm sure I'll bounce back even though everything is gone.
Yeah. Let's just get this part out of the way because I don't give a shit to harp on it, and I don't feel like it's any of our business. But people are going to be pissed if we don't ask. Fighter and the Kid.
Yeah.
Is that done?
Well, it's not done. You guys got to understand that Brent and I speak every day.
Sure.
And what's very hard for both of us is that I had to walk away. And the reason I had to walk away is because when something like what happened to me, what happens is, again, we live in a world where there's no due process anymore.
Right.
Where if allegations are weaponized and if somebody says something about you, what happens is, and I would remind people that the 3 of the allegations, 2 of the allegations were of what I said. They said I said something disturbing. So nowadays, if you say something even, it's considered, and they say that you said it. And even though it was 4 years ago, and I don't even know, what is the context? What are you talking about? Or in my case, you didn't say it. It doesn't matter. But if somebody, and the biggest allegation for me is 21 years old, right? Yeah. There's nothing you can do in that situation. No. There's nothing you can do. You can just say, the first thing I said was I went, who? And then I go, that's not possible. It made no sense. The first thing when I heard this from a lawyer, I went, ability to feed your children. And so there are a lot of people that get hurt who are depending on you. And we all have to be very careful of this in this world, because now if you're on the wrong side of the political spectrum, both sides are going to use this. They're trying to make a list of anybody who supported Trump. And what they're going to do is try to, and the people that have worked with Trump or in the administration are all know that they have very limited job opportunities because there's such a movement to create censorship to not let you work. That's a powerful thing, because what it does, it doesn't let people speak. Nobody is going to talk. In Hollywood, for example, you're better off saying you fuck goats than admitting that you're a Republican, for example.
Goats are cute.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And I don't think that's good. And remember, like, as young people and people listening, the reason that John Stuart Mill, the great American philosopher who wrote on free speech, the reason free speech is so important is because, number one, it allows you, if you have a point of view and you hear me, if I'm allowed to speak my point of view, what happens is you might change your mind. The only way we change our mind is if somebody mounts a better argument, an idea you can't refute, a better idea. And that's how we start to change our mind. And the second reason you should always have freedom of speech and not punish anybody is because you want people to be able to, if somebody does say something that's wrong, that's an opinion that's erroneous, it will strengthen the foundations of your opinion. It will further confirm that your opinion is correct, so that their opinion doesn't sit with them because they're afraid to use it, and then it gains its own truth underground.
Yep.
And now you got a truth that isn't challenged. And the problem with this this politically correct movement that's coming out of like this whole gender thing and all that, the problem with that, and it's coming out of the social sciences and universities, is that there's no pushback. There's zero conservative or Republican or even libertarian pushback on. So now kids are being taught, and I have kids, and I'm telling you this, I'm telling you guys should hear this in Mississippi everywhere. Yeah. I'm telling you, the kids are being taught that the founding fathers, instead of giving us the greatest democracy and the longest running democracy in the history of the world, which is incredible, the men who solved the political problem, instead they're being called white racists, and that's it. And so that cancels out their contribution. Even though everybody in this country is benefits from the work they did in July in Philadelphia in those years. So was it 1776, whatever it was.
Yes.
These are very, very important things that are being attacked, and you have to understand. You have to be able to articulate why it's wrong, because we are headed down. I'm very worried that we're headed down. I mean, kids are being taught that America was founded on only two things: racism and genocide.
Yep.
and to say that, you can't just dismiss a great country like this that way. It doesn't make kids feel good about themselves, and it's also wrong. And
lazy.
when you it's lazy. And one last thing, if you're going to break people up into groups, you can't do it because we're all so different. If you want to break people up into white straight males, for example, well, what about a white straight male who's deaf and has crippling anxiety? Is he privileged and has no money or was abused by his uncle? That's why we have to treat each other as individuals. Individuals. That was what the West figured out. Not breaking people up into groups and putting them ahead of other groups based on how oppressed they've been historically. You could never do it. It's not. They don't have workable fucking solutions. They're not workable. They don't work at the level of detail. They just don't. And that's because people who are in academia, professors and all these people that write these fucking papers, they've never had a real job. I've talked to all of them. I'm telling you, I've talked to probably 200-300 of them on my old podcast. They don't have real jobs. They're in the business of deconstructing. They look at something and go, well, what's wrong with this institution that's been standing there for 200 years? They've never built it. The rest of us are trying to build our fucking idea. Our lives. They deconstruct lives. They sit around going, they tell you what's wrong, but they're not in the game. They're not in the game, man. They're telling you why you're a bad quarterback and they've never thrown a pass in their fucking life.
God damn, you beat it to it. I was going to say it's like critiquing Michael Jordan's free throw.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's very important to know that, man. It's very important. So forget right, forget left, forget Republican, Democrat, liberal. Let's talk American. Get back to what makes this country great, which is one of them is fucking freedom of speech, man.
You got my goddamn vote,
yeah,
Bryan
that's
Callen.
100% where we're at.
That fired me up.
I was going to say allegations would have canceled me, but Biden and Trump have more than I do. So.
Yeah, you're fucking Braveheart without the anti-Semitism.
That's exactly right.
That's a good point.
That fired me the fuck up. By the way, speaking of founding fathers, though, would you rather give former President Barack Obama the first 90% of a blowjob or the last 10%?
Oh, goddamn, first 90%.
Oh,
I can't deal with the last 10%.
It's a lot of
the
work.
last 10% is, I can't have them. I can't even. I mean,
we are talking money shot.
Yeah, I can't be near a money shot. That's when you're super straight. I'd run away.
That's a lot of
all
work,
due respect.
man.
I just can't. Yeah, even my own.
I need Thomas after this podcast. I need you to get me a list of people that we've asked that. It's a very hilarious list.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Thank you.
It is a great question. I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure I came up with it. Hey, listen, my wife is a huge fan, and make no mistake, if you showed up to my front door, you would take her and have her willingly. And
you're a good man. I appreciate it.
It's a little bit rude, but I accept it. And she wants to know, how many times do you get mistaken for a more handsome Joe Rogan?
I like hearing that.
My
father once said you have similar facial structure, and that's all I heard. So, but the answer is, I'm a lot taller than Joe, and I've got broad shoulders, and I've got an apple bottom ass, And at the end of the day, I probably have, I was going to say more fat switch muscle, but I've seen him kick, so I can't say that.
Well, your upper body, though.
No, if you line up sports, if you line up 100 sports, I think I'm beating him in probably 75 of those sports.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's never seen a football.
And it's not because it's just that I think I've done more of a wider range of sports.
Yeah.
There, I said it. I said it out loud.
He's done
so
one, and he was okay at one. Yeah. But I mean, well, I guess he has also killed animals. Son of a bitch.
Yes.
That's not a sport. That's a lifestyle.
That's a lifestyle.
Speaking of that, we do have 2 Rushmores we were going to do with you. We're going to do the first one now, kind of burn through them with the animals that we could fuck up.
Oof.
I like this.
Let me do my number 4 because
my number 4 is Russell Crowe. No, I'm just kidding.
Son of a bitch. I got to take a piss really bad. My number 4 is a white-tailed deer. Bryce Mitchell could do it, and I can fucking do it too, okay?
Hey, you think you can kill a white-tailed deer?
Yes, I think I can rear naked choke. Bryce Mitchell did it.
He did?
Yeah,
Bryce
Thug
Mitchell,
Nasty.
UFC fighter. Bryce Mitchell rear naked choked a white-tailed deer.
Yep.
He held a choke for about 22 minutes.
Yeah, I've done that with a pit bull because my pit bull used to fight with my other German Shepherd.
I have done that with my dog. I've never wanted to admit it because I thought it was kind of fucked up. But I used to choke out my dog for fun. And hey, hey, if you don't agree with that,
wait a minute.
I thought it was funny. It was
I don't think that's what Brian was saying.
It was a funny joke. We would be fighting and I'd fucking choke it out.
I don't think that's what Brian was saying.
You're in trouble. Peter's
all right. Fuck everybody.
You have to pee. Go pee.
Go pee. I'm gonna talk to Brian.
Go pee.
I misunderstood the question because I went with like bugs.
The problem is you got to get behind a deer. How are you going to get behind a white-tailed deer? If the deer has been shot, you're not going to do it otherwise.
Yeah.
That deer is not going to let you near it, and it's going to kick you to fucking death. So you cannot say you can beat a white-tailed deer. There's no fucking way.
If I remember correctly, in Bryce Mitchell's story, it was a shot deer that didn't and he finished the job. He said he had to choke it for like 26 minutes. to get it to go out.
Yeah. I mean, that I get it, but I mean, first of all, it's a lot harder to choke a deer than people think. That's a thick-necked animal.
Oh yeah.
A dog though, when my pit bull used to latch on to my other dog, and I'd freak out because I knew my vet bill was going to be $1,500. I got so good at just sneaking that naked. I just get there and go like this and just squeeze gently, and she would let go. And I never hurt her. That's how I'd get her to let go. She never passed out. I just hold her until she let go. And then I put her in another room to calm down. Yep.
That's not bad at all. My number 4, literally, my number 4 was a moth. I was thinking way smaller scale than a white-tailed deer. I'm like, I find moths in my house like all the fucking time. I could definitely kill a moth.
Well, you have to caveat this.
Okay.
So you got to think to yourself, is the animal attacking you? And I believe I can beat any animal under 40 pounds up in the world, with the exception maybe of a Wolverine and a pit bull. A 40-pound, 39-pound pit bull is going to fuck you up because their jaws, they're too game and they ain't quitting. So when they bite you, you're going to shut down. Your arm's shutting down. You got one arm to work with. Kiss him. Sorry.
There is no way anybody heard any of that over that fire hose piss stream. So what
Brian,
are you guys talking about?
They definitely did. Brian said that he said he could fuck up any animal under 40 pounds, except for a Wolverine or a pit bull.
Well, a Wolverine, the jury's still out. Never fought one, and I think some of it might be more myth. But then again, they keep bears and fucking wolves at bay.
Yeah. They're nasty, dude. And like you said, like nobody sees them. They're not like out there all the time. And so that means that they keep a pretty wide range. You know what I'm saying? Like a mountain lion range is like, I think it's something like 50 miles because only one can exist for 50 miles because of the amount of resources they consume. I think Wolverines might be the same way.
Badger, Wolverine, I believe at the end of the day, I win. I fuck it up. They're just too small, and I'm going to put all my body weight on it, and I'm going to choke it.
You're going to the hospital, though.
I'm going to the hospital, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to the hospital. And cover your fucking nads.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I don't know what he's going to do. But I mean, overall, you're not – a wolf ain't hearing a peep out of you.
No.
Obviously, a mountain lion isn't hearing a peep out of you.
No.
anything with hooves, you're in deep shit if they come at you. So I don't know, man. It's hard. But overall, I think anything else well, you know what? Here's the problem with what I just said. Here's the problem with what I just fucking said. There are baboons that weigh 39 pounds.
Not fucking with a baboon.
That's a wild card, son.
They're gonna slice you up.
They go for the
like,
nuts. They go.
Dude, have you seen their fucking canines?
Yes, I have, and they're terrifying.
Now, I'm still gonna say, you gotta again caveat. My son, my son's behind me. I gotta save his life. I'm gonna fucking kill that fucking baboon because I'm gonna get low. I'm gonna take a bite, but I'm gonna get my knee and I'm gonna stick it on his jugular and I'm gonna fucking I don't know. It's a problem. It's a fucking problem.
But see,
Brian, biting and jumping and sticking and moving. It's a big. I'm gonna lose a lot of blood.
Okay, maybe. But Brian, here's what you're not considering. A baboon has never seen world-class taekwondo.
I was about to say, dude, I can.
Yeah, are you allowed to use your legs? Yeah, can you use?
I forgot about my feet, guys. I'm gonna fucking roundhouse kick him in the side of the head, and then I'm gonna follow it up with a fucking wheel kick, and then a front kick. The fuck is he gonna do,
dude? Yeah,
what's he gonna do?
You're gonna veto Belfort Anderson Silva, a goddamn baboon. And it's gonna.
That's exactly. I'm gonna go. Ever heard of Vitor Belfort? And I'm gonna yeah. So.
Who wins in a fight, a baboon or Mark Wahlberg?
Baboon for sure. He rips his.
I think a baboon.
Yeah, baboon. Blowout ass on a baboon too. You can always tell an athlete by the ass.
I don't think.
Well, that's the female.
That's a female.
All right, blow out. I mean, whatever. Blow out ass on the female.
You don't know shit about biology. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. They're vulvas. They're vulvas.
My number 3 is any snake.
You can beat up any snake?
You can fuck up any snake?
I will fuck up any snake.
King Cobra?
I'll felt their power.
A 32-foot reticulated python?
I'll felt their power, and I can handle it.
You felt a reticulated python's power?
I have been coiled up by an it was probably like a 12 or 15 foot fucking big ass.
You
snake.
Hold on. I'm gonna educate you. Hold on.
Thank you,
okay.
Brian. That's why.
So a 32 foot.
Brian, that's why I brought you here today.
Is twice as big, and I still think I could fuck it up. I think they have weak
What's the
points.
landscape? Are you in the river?
Huh? No, fuck no.
Anaconda.
We're talking about MMA. We're talking about in the octagon.
Anaconda with Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean,
we're talking bare hands. I don't have any weapons, right?
Well, I'm talking human hands.
That's fair.
Well, I want to see what a reticulated python, and I want to see what a reticulated python and an anaconda. Watch this. How much?
Now I am gonna cheat.
Okay.
I am gonna cheat. I
You
am
can play
gonna
dirty. It's
I'm gonna George St. Pierre take a mineral oil bath the night before.
Get slippery.
Get slippery as shit because they can't deal with that at all.
Hey,
They're
Jamie,
so
pull that
bad.
Python video up.
Thank you. They can't deal with that.
That's.
at all.
I like how you're thinking.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, Bubba. Anacondas, a large individual anaconda. You ready for this? Might weigh 1,100 pounds.
God damn! Oh shit! I was not ready.
All right.
All right. Well.
Yeah. Now
that's a
what'd you
Kia
say?
Forte.
What'd you say? And they can be over 12 inches in diameter. What'd you say?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Python
tell you
versus
what.
Python,
Now
and
your
then
food,
just whoop.
Nope. Your fucking blonde food for that fucking.
You're a mouse.
That's Satan serpent. That's
Okay.
crazy.
So I'm gonna
That's
use the
fucking
Bryan
nuts.
Callen thing and say any snake under 40 pounds.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
We gotta be careful
Right.
with how we talk.
We're gonna put a cap on it.
Well, we can just skip through my number 3. It was a wasp. I'd kill a
Oh
wasp.
God.
Thanks, Thomas.
Wasps.
Thanks,
I
Tom.
don't know, but
It'd be
know,
more out
man.
of spite. I just want to. I don't
All
like
right,
those
listen.
motherfuckers.
Here's the deal. And Brian is probably on this track too. I put up Christmas lights in the wintertime. I recently saw a wasp nest. It was 2 cones. So you know how wasp nest is? It's usually like a half moon.
Yep.
So I saw it was a half moon, and then they dropped down, and then it was another half moon, and it probably held at least 100 fucking wasps. And wasps down here, we have these guinea wasps, which are these red wasps that are about 2 inches fucking long. And boy, do they hurt. I've been stung in the face so many times.
Really?
So goddamn bad.
Fuck,
hey,
bad.
I was going on a 3-year fucking streak. I was going on a 3-year streak and not getting fucking stung by wasps. And like 2 months ago, I got stung by 2 in a fucking week. It's some bullshit.
Damn.
I don't fucking like it.
And just from being too close to their nest.
Yeah. From
I don't
disturbing.
like murder hornets, tarantula hawks.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
The tarantula hawk.
That video of fucking Coyote
tarantula?
Peterson
Oh my
taking
God,
that tarantula hawk.
Yeah, not fun. Not
Is that guy
fun.
still alive? Has anybody checked on him?
He
No.
is.
Is
He's okay. He's okay.
Thank God.
But a wasp nest. I mean, there's no way to fight that, dude. There's no way to fight that. You're just gonna hurt, and they're not gonna kill you. They're not gonna kill you. They're just gonna make you suffer, and it fucking sucks. I hate wasps.
They were put on the earth. They were put on the earth to punish a man for his sins.
They don't do anything else. What else do they do?
No, and
Bees
and,
make
and they live in the ground. By the way, murder hornets, mud wasps, they live in the ground, dude.
We have a thing in the South called yellow jackets.
I
And
know.
they're
stomach.
small. Yeah, they're small, like an inch long. And luckily we don't have them this far south because the water table, you know about water table and stuff.
Of course, I know about water table.
The water
talking
table's
to?
too high, so they can't build ground nests. But if you go about 30 minutes north, they got them. And they are, as far as stings go, and I've been stung by many a fucking stinging thing, yellow jacket's probably in the top 2.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
It's why whenever I go anywhere, I ask what the water table is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. If you're going to Denny's.
And that's what we had Brian on the podcast. So I didn't want to have some fucking idiot who didn't know how shit works.
Brian, I learned how to talk about wine whenever I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about from you. Anytime I have a wine, I just say that it's warm and earthy. Whenever I
You say it's
before I even
earthy.
drink it. Yeah.
It's earthy, and sometimes you can say it's fruit forward, but not too fruit forward. Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
I taste a lot more leather than I do berry.
Oh,
I taste more mushrooms and some nutmeg. Say stuff like that. And not as much. I don't like, and say things like this. I don't like the big California obvious jammy wines, the big
on the
obvious
nose.
vulgar jammy cabs that they charge too much money for. Say shit like that, and then say, I'm an old world guy. I'm an old world guy, meaning you like Spanish, French, Italian. Just say that. And then go like this. I go, personally, I like an old world wine with some age. That's just me. You do that.
That's fine.
And then say this. And then go, yeah, I like Burgundy because I can get more bang for my buck. And I don't have to go as old. You say that stuff. Just say that.
I'm making this my ringtone.
That's right. That's right.
Just be like, hey,
exactly.
hey, I'm at a wine tasting, Pepper. Can you give me a call?
Exactly.
Got a lot of things I want to say.
A lot of things.
Do you have another animal you want to fuck up?
I always think about dogs. I was with my buddy who's a big, strong motherfucker. He's one of those guys who weighed in his prime, he was a trim 275 with no fat on his body, and he was 6'2", and he could dunk a basketball. And all-around athlete, big-time football player. And he had a face this wide. He's one of those guys. He's just king of the beasts. And he was looking at a German Shepherd, this police dog. And I was like, what are you looking at? And he goes, I'm looking at that dog. And I said, why? And he said, I'll kill that dog. And I said, well, I know, but they can bite super hard. He goes, yeah, I know. I've already taken that into consideration. I would absorb the bite. I could take a huge amount of punishment. And then I would take both his legs and I would bend them over his back. And he's looking at this German Shepherd, strategizing how he would kill the dog if it attacked him. That's the kind of guy he was. Now, I'm not that guy, and I know a guy who was a SWAT. He was a SWAT sergeant who was canine, had a dog, and he wasn't supposed to show me this, but he showed me a German Shepherd take down this big cop who was actually in a ravine, and he was drowning this one cop. Two cops, he went AWOL. He was like 6'4", 235, huge. And that dog jumped from the bank in midair and grabbed that dude by the arm. And the guy just looked in the middle of his PCP range, looked and just kind of fell with the dog in the water. And then the dog switched and grabbed the other arm. And I was like, why isn't the guy punching or doing anything? He goes, because the dog shut his arms down. Because they can bite so hard that they shut the nerves down. So now you can't use your fucking arm. And that's how hard a big male Malinois / German Shepherd / Rottweiler can bite. You want no part of an 80-pound dog.
Only choice is to fuck it.
Yeah. That's why when you think about a 150-pound fucking mountain lion, Puma. I like saying Puma.
Yeah.
Puma.
Cool.
Puma. When you're talking about 150-pound Puma, there's no wolf on the planet that you know that's doing dick to that fucking cat. That cat wins that fight every fucking time. And when that guy killed that mountain lion, first thing I said is I was like, "That's a kitten. That's a kitten. No man's ever killed a mountain lion."
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, there ain't no fucking way.
It's been an animal-heavy podcast, guys.
Yeah. Well, this is what we wanted, Brian. I didn't understand the power of cats until I came face to face with a tiger in a gas station parking lot in some bumfuck Mississippi.
Were you in Beijing?
They had a tiger in a parking lot in Mississippi, and I went up to it and I saw it, and I was like, "Hey, that's a 350-pound cat." And the guy who had the cat was like, "You know how your cat can jump from the floor to your counter?" And I was like, uh-huh. And he was like, this cat can do that, but like proportionally. So this cat can jump from the floor to 20 feet in the air and no problem. And I was like, oh, fuck, we're all dead if this thing gets out.
That's exactly right. And I would remind people of the story in the San Francisco Zoo when those kids were shooting. They were shooting that tiger with a wrist rocket. And that tiger went, you know what? Fuck this. And jumped the wall and killed one of them.
Yep.
So don't fuck with tigers.
You get what
There's one thing you people should learn from this podcast, and you learned a lot. It's don't fuck with tigers. And America is the best country in the fucking world, despite all our problems.
Dude, this might be our most educational podcast, and I haven't even got to any of the platypus facts. So we are on a good fucking roll, dude. So my number 2 is any bird. Any bird. And I will stand by that. I thought about that.
Peregrine falcon?
I have been close to a dead owl. I've seen a dead owl. They are impressive. I will give you that.
You're leaving out. See, this is where I have to educate you. You're leaving out 2 birds that would fuck you up.
Okay, you're gonna say emu and ostrich? Thought about it.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna say ostrich because an ostrich is a 350-pound animal that runs 55 miles.
350-pound bitch.
It's a tiger with feathers.
You son of a bitch. They weigh 350 pounds. They run 55 miles an hour. And when lions try to bite them, they kick them in the fucking head, and lions can die sometimes. Yeah. So I don't know what you're going to do about that. Though I don't know what you're going to do about those fucking dinosaur feet and that dinosaur tendon machine that's going to kick you in your face.
Double leg.
I don't think so. I don't think you can double leg an ostrich.
Nope.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
No, I think the
ostrich. Have you seen me? Have you seen my base?
I like your arms. I've taken you in, but the problem is the ostrich is going to kick you real hard. Now here's a bird you don't know anything about, and here's a bird that's gonna open you up. It's gonna what we call unzip you. It's gonna unzip you. All right.
Yeah.
And the bird that's gonna unzip you is a bird from New Zealand called
kiwi.
A cassowary.
Yeah, that one.
A cassowary. All right? Just killed a man recently, in fact. So a cassowary ain't hearing a fucking peep out of either one of you fucking guys.
Yeah. Right? I never threatened the cassowary.
All right.
They are untamable. You cannot tame a cassowary. So the ostrich. Yeah, there you go. Now take a look at its claws, please. Take a look at its prehistoric claws.
Number 2 is going to be a water buffalo, but this is way better.
You think you could kill a water buffalo?
If I had to.
All right. Thomas, shut the fuck up. We're talking about cassowaries. It's got turkey's feet. Hey, real quick, I will give it. It's got some fucking Will Sasso calves. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, dude. Kill people. They kill men.
Shit.
They kill men. And so when you go in there, you have to go in there with a shield. You got to go in there with a shield and a stick to keep them away from you because they come right at you. They make a beeline for you, and they will kill you.
So UFC flyweight champion Davison Figueiredo, who's fighting this weekend, correct?
Yeah.
He has 2 pet water buffaloes. Did you know that?
Well, so there's the African water buffalo and there's the Asian water buffalo.
Okay.
Why do I know that he has the Asian water buffalo?
These are the Flintstones ones.
Yeah, he's got the Asian one. You know why I know he doesn't have? He has the ones they have in the Philippines and in Vietnam and Cambodia.
Yep.
He doesn't have an African water buffalo because their other name is what?
Black Death.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Black Death. Mine's the Asian one.
Yeah, well, it's the Asian one.
Yeah, I'm fucking the Asian one up.
You ain't killing an Asian one, but if you want to see how they slaughter buffalo, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
They have that scene where they're actually killing water buffalo.
They did it IRL.
And I was an extra in that movie.
Yes, you were. I remember that. You were a baby.
I was a baby.
You weren't born when that movie was made, actually.
It didn't have to be, not to kill a water buffalo.
No, I know. All right. Yeah. So if you had a machete and the water buffalo was tied up, maybe you could bring your machete down on his neck.
All right. Now, I do need to talk to you about an animal specifically. This is the first thing we ever talked about on our first episode of Rushmore podcast in November of 2017. I've had this reoccurring literal dream since I was in kindergarten, probably, where I fight a bear. But let me explain the scenario. This is a black bear. This is in a meadow of sorts, a grassy meadow, I would say. But there's a large tree in the middle of the meadow.
Yeah.
One large tree. I am starting from the top of the tree.
Right.
I have slaughtered this mother black bear's cub.
Okay.
I left the trail to the tree.
For spite? Just for spite?
Yeah, well, because I wanted to fight. No one would fight me anymore. Dana couldn't find anybody. So
now Mama Bear is all in a rage. Her heart broken.
Yes.
I got you.
I'm
you
thinking.
Can die. By the way, you can die.
I'm thinking 185-pound black bear. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're usually they walk around at 350 sometimes, but okay.
I'm saying 185.
We'll go 180, 185.
Yeah. Now, when this vision started, I was 5 years old. I still felt very good about it. I'm 27 now. The bear climbs the tree, obviously, to get to me. I killed its cub. I'm probably wearing parts of it.
You're wearing parts of it?
Yeah.
It's so extra.
To stay warm.
Are you wearing the pelt as a toupee? I'm
gonna be on the mom's back for a while. I need to stay warm. I need a blanket.
All right. I'm liking this so far. You're so cruel. I'm so mad at you as the mama bear, but keep going.
Yeah. So you're the mama bear, and you're like, rawr, rawr. And it's climbing the tree, and yeah. Oh my God, you're putting me there right now. And I leap off of the branch onto this bear's back. We go to the ground together. Now it falls face down. Why? Why? Because cats always land on their feet. Now, that applies to bears. A lot of people don't know that. It lands face down. I'm around its neck. Rear naked choke sunk in. The bear's paws too short. One, I have protection on the back of my neck. If it's going to reach up and swat at me while I'm choking it, I'm wearing its cub's fur. So you're hitting the fur. You're not hitting the skin.
So you got kind of a nape, a back nape.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then she's like, she doesn't do it because she feels her cub and she instinctively stops scratching.
Yeah.
Smart. I'm liking this. Do you rub the cub's blood and scent all over you so that she kind of softens a bit so she's a little attached to you?
Only on the bottoms of my feet. And the reason I do that is so she goes for my legs trying to save her because she doesn't have the cubs. I mean, she knows it's dead, but it's a scent. So she goes to my feet while I'm obviously, I got a seatbelt. I got to over-under. I have to lock in the rear naked choke.
Obviously.
Once it's locked in.
Because they have such a long neck.
Sure. Yeah, you can.
And by the way, she's just sitting there because she's just sitting there.
She's very confused.
And by the way, she only weighs roughly, I don't know.
Pounds.
Well, no. So she's roughly 35 pounds heavier than the biggest mountain lion ever and the biggest timber wolf ever. Oh, and by the way, she's got She's got 4 fucking razor sharp paws, but keep going, and a bigger maw, and a bigger mouth, and a bigger maw than fucking either one of the other animals.
Thomas, where's a maw?
Hey, Bryan Callen.
Yeah.
I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
I humbly disagree. I
Your
will
whole
say.
mom of this?
I will say that
You're the bear killer. You're
Brian,
the bear
Jason-
killer.
Brian,
Jason-
we've been having this
Hey.
fight for like 4 years.
I will say that Jason the Kid Knight, perennial 145er in the UFC and bare knuckle boxing legend,
Yeah.
he sided with me on this,
He did.
and I'm going to stand by that stamp of approval.
No,
And
no, I
Brian,
understand. Yeah.
I will invite you. You can come to the meadow with me.
Okay. She eviscerates you. She opens your throat.
Sure. Not
By the
true.
way, she probably takes your face away from you.
Don't need it. Don't need a face to fight a bear.
I like your attitude, and I'm liking your can-do attitude. I'm liking this.
Yep.
How do you keep your jugular and your front cavity?
Yeah.
Because
I'm
your front
aware.
cavity for a bear is that there's a whole country of possibilities.
Well, it doesn't matter. My front cavity is against the bear's back. She's not squeaking in there, and then the
I
back of
got
my neck is protected by the cub's fur.
How did you slaughter the cub?
Oh,
That's a good
shotgun
question.
Shotgun
to the face.
to the face.
Yeah, while it was sleeping.
Thomas is
Sleeping?
100%.
I was sleeping.
So mean. That's so
Thomas-
fucking mean.
I was 5.
Thomas would have to learn how to operate a shotgun, and then he would have to get his hands on one.
There's a lot of ifs here, man.
I'm
There are a
in
lot of-
Mississippi. I can go next door and ask my neighbor to borrow
You
it.
can't borrow my shotgun, Thomas.
Yeah, everybody. That's what I like about Mississippi. I have a fantasy of moving to the South. God damn it.
You know, they say the
I feel
right
like
to
I-
bear arms, that's so I can kill cubs.
That's amazing.
That's a terrible
You're
joke.
you're so hard on bears, dude.
Well, it's
No,
just this bear.
encourage
It's
it,
just
man.
a mother bear and one solo cub. The other one's
This
already
is-
died.
The other one's died.
Well,
What
the dad ate him before he left.
The
They
dad
do
ate
that.
him. Oh, that son of
They
a
do
bitch.
that.
Yeah. This is
They
the
do
only
that.
thing that mom was clinging on to.
Dad's elite the Cubs.
It would be very
Especially-
cruel of me to do that to the cub and just leave the mom to more.
When I was in Alaska with Rogan and Steve Ranella, last hunting trip I ever did with them, and we saw a black bear in the distance. She had a cub, and I said to Steve, "Why is she there?" And he said, "She's probably keeping him. She's probably keeping her cub high up in the highlands, away from the males, because I'll eat a baby." So there it is.
And
This wine is fucking opening up, guys.
I'm the goddamn male bear of this podcast.
Is it earthy?
I'm smelling. I got nutmeg. There's more nutmeg.
Okay.
There's anise. There's some herbs there, man.
Mm.
Yeah. This feels like I'm running through it feels like I'm running through a virgin forest, an old growth forest with my mouth open. Sorry. There you go. How's that beer?
Fucking
Still-
love it.
How
son
them
of a bitch.
hops?
It's Dos Equis.
I got high quality H2O.
The only reason I'm drinking Dos Equis, by the way, is Sergio Perez won his first F1 race in his career. So, Mexican
I like it.
all the way, dude.
I like you're a big F1 fan?
I am,
As of,
100%.
as of the last 2 months, he's balls deep.
That is also true, but I know everything about F1 now. It is
Appreciate
it's the most beautiful racing sport ever invented.
All right, let's get into our
Let's go, dude. I've been waiting.
our Rushmore of ways we want to die so we can get Bryan Callen over to Frank Grillo's house in a timely
Who
fashion.
wants to go first is the question.
All right, so this is how it's going to work. Pepper's going to do his number 4. I'll do my number 4, and we'll get to your number 4, and we'll go down to our number 1s on ways we
Boom.
want to die.
Okay.
Pepper, number 4.
Okay, my number 4 on my Mount Rushmore of ways I want to die is fighting off a gang of pedophiles. So here's the scene. There is a helpless young boy somewhere public, in a public area.
A young
There is
Shia LaBeouf.
There's a gang of pedophiles. All of them look like Yoel Romero. And I walk up and I'm like, hey, what's the big deal over here? And they're like, yo, they're like, hey, fuck you. We want fuck boy. And I'm like, no, fuck that, dude. That ain't fucking cool. And I start fighting them and I kill all of them. But the last one, turns out, after I whoop his ass, he's got a gun, shoots me in the head, ends up fucking the boy. not a good end of the story, but that would be a
but
way to die.
all right, but at least you took out. There's only one boy fucker left.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So I took out 13, and the last one
Yeah.
got me.
Okay. All right.
That's not bad.
Can I piggyback that?
Yeah, of course.
I have that's the most genius thing. I have a fantasy of taking out a gang of pedophiles as well, and they're in a circle and they're all getting ready and they're planning how they're gonna lure boys or kids, and they're doing all those terrible things. And I have a fantasy of them just hearing. And like, the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is going on with that? And they all turn. And as they turn out of the fucking bush, because they're in the woods, because they have to do that, and they have a clearing. Out of the bush in the clearing comes a steed with armor, a black steed, black as night, black as a raven's tail. And I, dressed like a berserk, loincloth, probably something to protect my undercarriage. Not much, just something. Probably that bear pelt.
Yeah, I was
I
going to say
borrowed
bear fur.
that cub bear pelt.
Anytime.
Protect my undercarriage and my 3-piece set. And I'm riding. And you just hear, hey, yeah! And it's an ancient Gaelic war cry. Or it's a Native American cry. So I culturally appropriate some Gaelic war cry. And they just hear as I unsheath my katana, or my Japanese longsword, my Chinese longsword.
Sure.
All right.
English longsword.
And I hold it out as I ride, and I just fucking shook, and lop heads. I fucking lop heads. Then I turn back round as they give chase. They run. And as they're running from me, I ride them down. I fucking ride them down. And I chop their heads off from behind. And then there's one guy who's shivering and crying, okay? He's like, please don't, please, I'm sorry. And I run it through his body, and I yank up, and then I kick him off my sword. I dry the blood, I take the blood off, I dry that off on my horse's flank, and I make one mistake. I nick my horse just a little bit with my razor sharp katana. And my horse Mercury, it's his name.
I was going to ask the horse's name.
Yeah, my horse Mercury, instinctively, and he loves me. He's the kind of horse where I'm like, and then he shows up, falls to his tummy. I get on his back, and he just gets up and takes off. So that's how close we are, dude. That's how close we are.
That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you. I nick him, and he instinctually, doesn't mean it, instinctually kicks me in the fucking temple, and I die instantly. I know, it's sad. I know, it's sad, guys. I know. But here's the best part. I ride him bareback, and I don't use a bit. I just communicate with my legs. So he's naked in the wild. And as he turns and sees that he's killed his master and he wants to cry, who shows up? Unicorn. Yeah, unicorn.
What?
Yeah, unicorn.
A unicorn?
And she leads him into the deep bush, the black, beautiful, magical forest. And Mercury lives there forever. And they mate. And she doesn't get pregnant
because it's all
but
butt sex.
He grows a fucking horn.
Yeah. Oh shit, he grows a
That's
horn?
it. Yeah, so that's number 4 for me.
That's evolution.
It's anal sex.
Hey, anything with horse fucking peppers in.
Oh, hey, real quick. You don't know this, but I wrote the #1 horse fucking song on the planet. And I'll send it to you later.
Are you familiar with Danish and O'Neill? Jeff Dennis and Ryan O'Neill?
Yes.
They are Pepper writes a lot of music for those guys. Oh, you're not?
I'll send it
No,
to you.
are you a musician?
Oh, Brian? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, 'cause I'm writing
Hey,
a
real
song.
quick. I
Yeah.
will excuse the disrespect, but yes.
Will you please send me your music? 'Cause I want to write some silly songs.
Oh,
Brian,
he did.
you have
the podcast.
uncorked a bottle of wine that you may not know how to control.
Pepper did the.
I'm excited.
He did the theme song for. He did a lot of music for Danish and O'Neill, but he did the theme song for Ari Shaffir and Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank, and the theme song for Ari Shaffir and Big J's 21 Jump Street podcast.
No shit, dude. I'm doing a new podcast called Callen and Company with Steve Byrne. I need you to fucking this is the first time I've ever mentioned it. This is the first time I'm mentioning it in public.
Breaking fucking news.
Breaking fucking news. Callen Company, because I got my Patreon, but I gotta go something public, and I'm gonna need some music. Maybe you guys come up. Maybe you guys come to LA. Bring your wives. Maybe I'll put you up in a hotel and you come to the podcast.
You're trying to fuck our wives, but that's cool.
Brian.
Well, besides that, we grab some din when this fucking communist town opens up, and you do the podcast. You do the new podcast. If you're afraid, I get it, but otherwise, that's an open invite.
We'll do it right now, and we'll open our own restaurant for the weekend.
Yes.
We'll call it Din Din.
And not follow any rules, get shut down, never pay for anything, get the fuck out of there.
Din. Yeah, I like that. I like it.
Yeah,
All right.
man. My number 4 was pretty boring, but I was just gonna say heart attack
Heart
because
attack.
because
that's the most likely because
Yes.
you're overweight.
and I drink about 1,400 milligrams of caffeine,
And you're
every
also
day.
overweight.
And overweight.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Heart attack, and I drink.
Yeah. Well, when you move in with me, we're gonna, I'm gonna revolutionize your physicality.
Yeah, I'm gonna order the that Oz box set and try to get that diet plan from you.
There you go.
All right, and
Number 3, Pepper.
my number 3, it is the only non-joke answer that I have on my thing, and it is opioid overdose. That seems like a very peaceful death.
Oh, peaceful.
I
And
would agree with that.
I love
agree with
Percocets. They're great. I love them.
And
I don't do it. Hey, I don't do them a lot, but hey,
Yeah.
every once in a
I
while,
like-
little Percocet.
I like. I have a fantasy of jumping out of a plane and flying to my death. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's not bad.
like
But
David
I want
Blaine.
to hit the bluest water in the warmest climate.
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like David Blaine, but it's your first trick and you're really
I
bad.
don't know if I'd go for water, dude. You could survive that. People, a ton of people have survived Golden Gate
I just
Bridge.
like the idea that I would hit the water and
Yeah, but out
I
of a
would just
plane.
disappear. You'd get knocked out.
Terminal
You'd get knocked
velocity is
out.
terminal velocity.
Yeah, you get knocked out because the surface pressure of water is crazy. You can cave in a
Yeah,
car.
surface
So you'd
tension.
get knocked out, and then you would just sink into an azure grave.
I would like a no. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Yeah. This isn't a goddamn physics podcast. Yes. That sounds nice.
And I know what Brian would say on the way down from that plane. I did it all.
I did it all.
I listened to Tim on your last
fucking
words
right.
10-minute podcast yesterday.
You are fucking right. I did it all. I forget. I've done a lot of shit in my 53 years, haven't I? Fuck. I always forget that. And it was all taken away from me. Anyway.
Oh, and by the way, when you were mentioning Scratch, you didn't fucking say Mad TV, did you?
Yeah, I said it. I got it
did?
written down right here. Yeah,
God.
original fucking cast, bro.
Fuck yeah.
Mad
Fuck
TV is
yeah.
one of the greatest fucking shows of all time.
Let's fucking go. Yeah, I was gonna piggyback on yours with another boring one and say natural causes, just because it seems peaceful, like in my sleep,
So,
just peaceful.
bear attack.
I don't know if that's peaceful.
Yeah.
No,
No, I want to die. You know, so part of me wants to die in the scariest way possible.
Sure.
Like a crocodile would scare the fuck out of me, but then you just get drowned and you're like, this is really happening.
Yeah.
But just to see if I can keep my eyes open when it happens.
Stingray was pretty badass for Steve Irwin.
Yeah, I want to die
was
fighting.
rush.
I want to die fighting bad guys. My number one way to die, I think, is to just be completely outnumbered and to run into an army, approaching army.
Yeah.
I drop my sword and I just look at them and they just and I just run at the swords and they all kill me, but they have a grudging respect. They're just like, that motherfucker went out with a bang.
They all look back and be like, damn, that motherfucker was real, wasn't he?
You really are.
Do you remember The Gray when Liam Neeson
the wolves.
goes low? He goes low and just fucking goes in to the wolf's den.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you want to die, bro. Because they kill you. You're gonna die. Yeah. But at least you fucking, and I might want to do it. What I want to do is when I do it, I want people to witness it, and I want so they can tell my kids how I went out, and I want to have saved somebody when it happens. I want to save somebody. You know, the wolves are closing in on somebody, and I just go, "Hey, guys, want to dance?" And then they just turn on me, and I just fucking. I just come in, and the legend is, Callen. What happened with Callen when he charged? He just those wolves. And they just go. Callen met him halfway. Met him halfway.
Kept him busy.
Well, I know. I think it's one of Steven Ranella's friends. I don't know if it was Doug Dern or somebody else, but they got surrounded by a pack of wolves, and the story was they were like basically backed up against a tree, and the dude had killed like 3 of them with arrows. He had 1 arrow left, and there was 1 charging in. And it was basically like do or die. He fucking let it go, killed the last one, and they ended up just retreating. But like that is what you're talking about, and that shit actually fucking happened.
There's a movie called Frozen, not the Elsa one, that watched on accident one time on Netflix like 6 or 7 years ago. And it was these 3 kids get stuck in a ski lift.
Yeah.
And
they all fuck each other.
They freeze basically to death. They all fucking freeze. They end up
I like this movie.
They end up like trying to cut, they're frozen to the ski lift, and then they try to like cut each other out of it, and then they fall, break their fucking legs in the snow. There's blood everywhere, and then wolves smell the blood, come eat them alive, and that's the end of the movie.
That's a shitty movie.
Actually, I think it was a porn.
Bummer. Sounds great.
All right, my number 2 is platypus. Platypus have so here you go. This is where we're gonna learn about platypus. Get everybody strap in. So not only are they fucking weird fucking marsupials that lay eggs and have duck bills and have beaver tails, they have fucking spiky shit on the back of their legs. And guess what? It is venomous, but not all the time. Only when they're mating, because they use that venomous shit only when they are mating to kill other platypuses.
And they look like Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, and they look like Daniel Cormier. And they will fuck you up. But now their venom will not kill humans. But if you walk into a platypus orgy, this is the way I want to die. There's a platypus orgy I fucking hear about on the internet because I'm tuned in to everything going on. So I hear about a platypus orgy going on. I fucking go into it, and I'm like, yo, let me fucking get in. And then they're like, yo, fuck you, bro. And they just like kick me with their fucking venomous spines and shit. And I get about 4 of them. 4 of them, that's about enough to kill you. And then I collapse, dead body collapse on the platypuses.
Platypi.
It is platypuses.
Platypi.
And
I call it platypuses.
Yeah.
So it's just my nude erect cock body, dead among a gang of platypi, and then everybody's like, "What the fuck happened to this guy?"
I think they could probably figure it out with context clues.
See, a lot of it you want to die with dignity. Like I want to die. There's a story about an English explorer back in the fucking, 1910 or something. And he was an aristocrat, and he went to try to find a route around the South Pole and North Pole, whatever. And they were dying, and he had frostbite, and they were starving, and they were going to die. And apparently he was the leader of the expedition. He was a military officer. And he looked at his men, and he said, he had his feet were gangrene, and he was, and he looked at his men, and it was a blizzard or something. And he looked at them and he said, "I'm going for a walk, gentlemen, and I may be some time."
That was In Search of the Northwest Passage. I don't remember the name of the guy, but I know exactly.
Oh, so you know the story?
About. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he just walked off into the fucking abyss. And what a fucking man! What a fucking man! What that is to me, the fact that he was able to keep his composure.
Yep.
And not only that, but spare his men his misery and his suffering. He had the character to not put his pain and his despair and his fear onto those around him. That's when you know who the fuck you are, by the way. I think about that every day lately, obviously.
That's all that shit, man. Like back in like the quest for the Northwest Passage is so it as a point of history, it is one of the most interesting things to research because it is just the worst shit ever. It is Lewis and Clark times 1,000. And
I gotta educate myself on it. I'm impressed you know about it. I don't know about it. You do some reading because I don't know much.
No, I don't read shit. But the Northwest Passage, I will tell you.
But you don't have to because you can still research shit without you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, I can. Or I can. Well, I didn't want to bring this up on this podcast. Is this
what?
Do you think it's?
Yeah, sure. I think it's appropriate.
Okay. So I have a superpower where I can smell my own farts and I can gain knowledge from smelling my own farts. I didn't want to say it. Yeah.
No, that's impressive.
I didn't want to
We'll do another podcast.
Weird.
Boys, I got to kind of wrap it up because I'm late. I'm maybe a half hour late, but I've enjoyed this immensely.
Yeah, dude, we love you. My number one, by the way, was just going to be Bear Attack.
My number one is
go out on my shield.
Death by pussy.
You got to go out on your shield.
Yeah, my number one is Death by Pussy. I want my wife and her thick ass thighs to just sit on me and smother me to death, and I'll just die like rimming her asshole and dipping my tongue into her pussy every once in a while, and
I like that you're that into your wife, and I appreciate her thighs. Nothing like a thick ass woman. I love that,
dude. Yeah,
incredible. Bryan, speaking of thick ass women, tell Frank Grillo we'd love to have him anytime.
I will. I promise. You guys have been great, and I promise I will do that.
Thanks, brother. We really appreciate you, man.
It's a good fucking podcast, so thank you.
Thank you, man. We really enjoyed it. You're electric.
We'll be in touch about a theme song.
Yeah, we'll talk
anytime.
soon.
For real.
Yes.
Let me know.
Love you.
All right.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.